Panthers coach Dave Canales embraces underdog role ahead of playoff clash. The Carolina Panthers are heading into the playoffs as heavy underdogs, but head coach Dave Canales isn't worried at all. In fact, he's embracing it. Canales pointed to one unforgettable NFL moment, the famous Beastquake game in 2010. Back then, his Seahawks shocked the defending champions. Now he believes Carolina can create its own historic moment. The Panthers already proved doubters wrong once this season. They upset the Rams despite being double-digit underdogs, and now they get another shot. Can the Panthers shock the NFL again? We're about to find out. Doubt has followed the Carolina Panthers for much of the season, and as they step into the playoff spotlight as significant underdogs, the external noise has only grown louder. Yet inside the locker room, the mood is strikingly different, shaped largely by the calm confidence of head coach Dave Canales, who has repeatedly emphasized that betting lines and predictions hold no influence over the way his team prepares or believes. For Canales, the idea of being overlooked is not a burden, but a familiar storyline, one that carries echoes of moments from his own coaching journey that reshaped his understanding of what is possible in professional football. He remembers standing in the coach's booth during the 2010 postseason when Seattle, a team that barely made the playoffs with a losing record, stunned the defending champions in a game immortalized by Marshawn Lynch's legendary run, a moment that shook the stadium both literally and emotionally, creating an atmosphere where belief overtook probability. That memory has stayed with him not because of the upset itself, but because it represented the unpredictable heartbeat of football, where preparation, emotion, and opportunity collide in ways statistics cannot measure. Now, years later, he sees reflections of that same potential energy building in Carolina, a franchise that has endured inconsistency but found flashes of resilience at critical moments, including a regular season victory over the very opponent they are about to face again. Proof that the gap between expectation and outcome is often narrower than analysts assume. Quarterback Bryce Young's growth remains central to that narrative, as his ability to respond after difficult performances earlier in the season demonstrated a mental toughness that Canales believes can translate under playoff pressure, especially when paired with a game plan designed to emphasize rhythm, protection, and calculated aggression. The Panthers' rushing attack, which struggled late in the year, has become another focal point internally, not simply as a tactical adjustment, but as a psychological statement, because establishing physical dominance early could energize both the roster and the home crowd, creating the kind of momentum swing that has historically fueled postseason surprises. Canales has spoken passionately about the importance of home field atmosphere, recalling how crowd noise in Seattle once disrupted opposing offenses to the point of false starts and communication breakdowns, and he envisions Bank of America Stadium generating similar chaos, transforming fan energy into a competitive advantage that cannot be quantified on scouting reports. Beyond the immediate matchup, the broader implications of this playoff appearance are significant for the organization's trajectory, influencing player confidence, off-season recruiting appeal, and the perception of the coaching staff's long-term vision. Because a strong performance or even a shocking victory could accelerate belief in the Panthers' rebuild across the league. Fans, many of whom have endured years of frustration, now sense the possibility of a turning point, not necessarily because the team is favored, but because sports history repeatedly shows that emotional momentum can outweigh statistical probability when preparation meets opportunity. Canales understands that narrative power deeply, and his message to players has centered on freedom rather than fear, encouraging them to embrace the moment instead of worrying about expectations, because in his experience, the most unforgettable games emerge when athletes play without hesitation.
As kickoff approaches, the Panthers stand at the intersection of skepticism and possibility, carrying the hopes of a franchise eager for relevance and the belief of a coach who has already witnessed what happens when underdogs refuse to accept the script written for them, leaving one lingering question that will soon be answered on the field: whether Carolina can transform doubt into one of those electrifying memories that redefine a season and echo for years to come.